Hi, my name is Emily Boulin with Sally Crew at Sally Beauty. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my DIY hairstyle for the holidays, which is big, fun, textured hair. So the thing I love about this deep waver is that you can see it's got very dramatic waves within it, so you know you're going to get that deep, luxurious curl. Also, there's a lock technology for when you're storing it, so when you're ready to use it, you can actually just flip that switch up and it opens, and you just clamp down on the hair and it releases really easily. It's got an on and off button. It's also got a place for your thumb to go, and you can control the temperature. I tell people all the time, being able to control the temperature with a hot tool is so important, because this hot tool specifically goes up to 430 degrees. So if you're turning it up that high each and every time, you can definitely stress your hair out. Most hair doesn't need the curl to be that warm and that high. So just by lowering that a little bit, you can find what works for you based off of how your hair takes to the wave. So to begin, I'm going to section my hair. Sectioning is so important and very underrated, but it's what's going to keep our waves looking very unison, because that's what we want with this look. So I would say start out with about an inch by inch section, just so that you know all of the hair is getting hit with the heat, because if you have too big of a section, you're going to lose control of how much of the heat is actually getting to your hair. And it's nice to get a nice big bulky clip when you're tying your hair up, because you have big, thick, dense hair like this, and I have extensions right now. So this hair weighs a lot. So being able to get it up and out of the way efficiently, and I don't have to worry about it slipping down, is going to be super helpful. And starting out with that really thin section on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and grab this section of hair, and I'm going to begin right toward the top at the base. And I'm just going to clamp down. I'm going to hold that there for about 5 seconds and lift back up. And you can already see how I have that wave in my hair. Now you see where the next wave goes up? I'm going to make sure that I clamp back down in that same formation so that the wave looks consistent and we don't have any lines in the wave. Gonna pick back up and do it once again. And you can see I'm getting that really easy beach wave. This is great for people that feel like they can't curl their hair at home, they're just not hacking it. This gives you more of like a luxurious wave and a more unison wave, which is also a really fun look to try out for the holidays. And you can already see how much of that wave we have in there. And we're not going to comb through this, we're not going to brush through it, because that's how we lose the curl. We want the curl to cool down before we put anything through our hair. A great tip for when you're doing a heat style on your hair is to go ahead and get a really great thermal protectant. This is something that you can spray on your hair. Usually when it's wet or dry. This one specifically is the Beyond the Zone. This one is a spray on, and I'm actually going to use it while it's dry, and I just hold it far enough back to where I can do a light spray and I know that it's coating that hair evenly. And I'm gonna go ahead and move on to this section. Same thing, I'm gonna start at the base, hold down, and then release. Find that wave, hold down, and then release. Always find where your last bump was, because that's gonna help you not get a line in your wave pattern. And you can always go back and fix something. So if you mess up, like see how this is a little bit longer right here, I can just go ahead and find that wave pattern again, clamp down one more time. And that's where the heat protectant helps us a lot, because we know that we're not getting that full amount of heat coverage and damage because we use that heat protectant. So this is definitely a foolproof system to get that perfect wave without having the skill of having to pick up all the hair and wrap it around the curling iron in such an easy way. This would actually make a great gift for somebody who can't curl their hair. So if you have somebody like that in your life, this is a great tool. So I'm going to continue with the next section, and same thing. So I'm going to unpin my hair and bring this all back down, section by section. I'm going to pull down a little bit more of this hair. All the way to the back, pulling down about 1 inch, and then I'm going to repin this up and keeping everything very organized. So I'm ready to move on to my next section. I have my nice clean section ready to go right here. We're gonna begin by starting at the base. See how close I am? You wanna get it as tight as possible without hurting your scalp. So I'm gonna release, find that wave, press down again. Release, and again. And that's all that it takes. And you can even just see the comparison. Like, look how fun this this color melt looks when you're combining it with a really cool style. So having the right styling tools is what's also gonna make the difference to make your hair look that much better. And because my hair was so big and puffy because of all the blonding that I do to it, the heat tools are what are gonna give it that smooth look in combination with a bunch of our, health products. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to my next section. Same thing, I'm not gonna brush out anything that I did because I want that to cool before I mess with it. A great indication to know if you should turn the heat up or down on your tool is that if you're not getting the wave that you're looking for, you wanna go ahead and just turn it up a little bit just to make sure that you're getting enough heat to where you can see the style. If you're getting the style almost immediately and you're barely touching the hair, it's time to turn it down. I love all the texture that this is giving to me. This is like mermaid hair and I'm here for it, and I love the way that it breaks up my color even more. Like, I love the blends, how you can see my hair go from icy to warmer. It's almost creating contrast, and I'm in love with it. When I turn it to the side like this, you can really see how that curl is finding its form. Very, very easy to get that wave. And remember, try not to get your fingers in there as much as you can, because the more you start moving the hair before it has time to cool, you're gonna lose the wave pattern. What we wanna do is let everything cool down first before we go putting our hands or product or any type of brush through it, because then everything will be not the way that we planned. And we're gonna continue to work up the head. We're almost there. I like to leave out the very top hairs, like if you have bangs or any shorter pieces on top, like layers, just because we wanna be able to mold those and put those where we want them to sit. So leaving those out even with the top section, even with it being thin enough, that way we have more control of what our overall style looks like, because that hair on top is gonna be the most seen piece by anybody that looks at your hair. So we're gonna go ahead and just top knot that out of the way. So now we've reached the top. I'm gonna let down all of my hair. And we're gonna finish it up. So the bangs, I like to like position right where I want them because I know once I put that wave in, it's gonna be hard to get it back out. Anytime you're putting, above 200 degrees of heat on anything, it's very hard to counteract. So it is smart to kind of section your hair, know where you're putting certain waves and how you want something to sit. And even sectioning this top section isn't a bad idea, because the more control you have, the more you're gonna be able to predict your outcome. And thinner sections are going to allow you to get closer to the scalp. So if you take an even thinner section than what I was even intending, I can get right up on the base. And I want to make sure I get that end in so that that's got a wave to it as well. And I do believe you don't need as much heat on your ends or any short pieces. If you have any broken hair, just make sure you're not laying it on that hard, because that's an easy way to make your hair more damaged. And this is the only time I'm starting to like mold my hair where I want it to go while it's still hot, because if it hasn't set yet, I can still adjust it. So if I know I want my bangs to sit a little bit smoother across my forehead, I'm gonna start playing with that a little bit, because that will cool down in the style that I want it to sit in. And you can see how I'm already getting, even though my bangs are short, I'm getting them to cooperate because I can mold them in with the rest of the wave. I'm going to add a little bit more heat protectant on this one because my hairs are a little more fragile toward the top of my head, because that seems to get the most styling action out of all of my hair, because that's what everybody sees. So I almost like to go in double time to make sure that it's all getting covered. So as you can see, it's really easy to get that big, wavy, textured hair with the Hot Shot Tools Deep Beach Waver.